Hey guys, I'm glad you're back. All right, today we're going to read a book and it is called Bats. And this is a book that is all factual information, okay? So it's real things about bats. And it was written and illustrated by Gail Gibbons. That means that she's the author, she wrote the book, and she's the illustrator. She drew the pictures. Okay, so this is our book, Bats. Bats dive, swoop, and swerve through the dark night sky. These creatures are nocturnal, meaning they are awake at night and asleep during the day. Most people have never seen a bat. Have you ever seen a bat? Bats have played an important part in stories. Many people have thought bats were evil spirits. Others have thought they were friends of ghosts and witches. Because many unkind things have been said about bats, some people still think they're scary. Actually, bats are shy and gentle. Bats are mammals, as are dogs, cats, and humans. All mammals are warm-blooded animals, and their babies are born alive instead of being hatched from eggs. Bats are the only mammals that can fly. So did you know that you are a mammal? So am I. We're mammals just like a bat, but a bat can do something that we can't. A bat can fly all on its own. It has wings that help it fly. We can't fly. We can fly in airplanes, but we don't have wings that help us fly on our own. I know that's disappointing. Bats have been around for a long time. The oldest bat fossil found is about 50 million years old. These prehistoric bats looked a lot like today's bats. All bats have the same basic characteristics, including large wings, small bodies, and lightweight bones. That means they're not heavy. Bat wings are different from the wings of insects or birds. A bat's wing has long arm bones with very thin, long finger bones. A thin skin called a membrane stretches between the bones. The thumb ends with a claw. Okay, so here we have a long arm, and then here you have its fingers. Okay, so it has 4 fingers, and then it has a little thumb. Okay, so it's kind of like if we had our hand and but it's like if we had skin that went in between our fingers, but they were very long, and then we might could fly. The membrane connects the wing bones to a bat's body and legs. A bat can move each finger separately to change the shape of its wings. This helps it change its speed and direction quickly. Some bats can fly as fast as 15 miles an hour and as high as 10,000 feet in the air. When a bat lands, it flips upside down and hangs by its toe claws. It uses these claws to move around. So a bat, when they land, they hang upside down. So they'll grab around the end of a branch or something like that, and they'll hang upside down. Bats choose many kinds of dark nooks and crannies to live in. These places are called roosts. Say that, say roosts. Many bats live together in caves, attics, barns, or tall trees. In places where it gets cold in the winter, some kinds of bats migrate to warmer climates. Others use their roosts to hibernate until spring. So when it gets really cold, bats are not fans of the cold weather. So sometimes they might migrate, meaning they'll move to somewhere warmer. So they'll fly to somewhere warmer and stay there until where they live gets warmer and then they'll go back home. Or some will even hibernate wherever their roost is. Okay, so that means that all year long they'll gather up food and they'll store food in their bodies. And then during the winter time, they'll sleep all winter long until it gets warm. And then when it warms back up, they'll wake up. Just before hibernating begins, bats eat lots of food to live on during the long winter months. Their heartbeats slow down and their body temperatures drop. And there they just hang upside down all winter long. Bats live on every continent except Antarctica. Do you know why they don't live on Antarctica? Because Antarctica is freezing all the time. It never warms up. So bats don't want to live there. Most of them live in hot climates where there are many insects, fruits, and flowers to feed on. There are about 1,000 different kinds of bats. The smallest is the Keating's hognose bat. Its wingspan is 5 inches and it weighs only 1/14 of an ounce. The biggest bat is the giant flying fox. It has a wingspan of about 5 feet. Okay, I am 5 foot and 2 inches tall. So that means that that bat is as big, its wingspan, when it stretches its wings out, is as long as I am. So I think if I ever saw that bat, I'd probably be terrified. And it weighs about 2 pounds. But they both live in Asia, so we don't have to worry about that because we don't live in Asia, we live in America. Most bats are insect eaters and have a special way of seeing in the night called echolocation. Say that, say echolocation. A bat sends out a rapid beeping sound, too high pitched for people to hear. Okay, so they send out this sound and it's such a squealing sound, it's so high pitched we can't hear it. But they send it out, and then whatever object they're sending it out to, whatever they're wanting to eat, that sound hits that animal and then comes back to them. So they know where the animal is that they're wanting to eat. When hunting, the sound waves hit an insect, and the waves bounce back to the bat's ears as echoes. These echoes tell the bat the size and shape of the insect where it's located. In a flash, the bat scoops up the insect. If it weren't for bats, there would be too many insects. So, do you know what an echo is? Have you ever been standing maybe like in a tunnel or a cave or something, and you kind of look up and you scream really loud, and it's like after you scream, you can still hear it in the air? That's an echo, okay? So when we scream or we say something really loud, and it's like the sound bounces off the walls and comes back to our ears and we can still hear it. That's an echo, and that's how the bats find their food. So they're flying, and there might be a moth or some type of butterfly or something flying in the air, and so they'll send out that sound, that screaming sound, but we can't hear it, and it'll find the bug and it'll bounce off of it and it'll come back as an echo to the bat, and then the bat can just go swoop down and eat their food. There are fruit and nectar eating bats too. These bats help pollinate plants so we can have foods such as avocados, figs, and bananas. They also help scatter seeds. So do you like bananas? All right, so if we didn't have bats, we probably wouldn't have near as many bananas. A few kinds of bats are meat eaters. They eat fish, frogs, mice, and sometimes birds. They have smooth, sharp, crushing teeth that allow them to eat what they catch, bones and all. Blood is the only food for vampire bats. They are found in Mexico, Central America, and South America. When the vampire bat finds an animal, it takes a tiny cut with its teeth in the animal's skin. Then the bat laps up the blood with its tongue, and the animal hardly feels the cut. Many scary and untrue stories have been told about vampire bats and people called vampires. The famous fictional vampire called Dracula, frequently known, is shown with bats encircling him. But those are just stories, they're not real. Some bats have long, narrow faces. Others have short, round faces. Some bats have leaf-like shapes on their faces, while others look like dogs. Most bats have very good hearing and can see well. Most bats have a good sense of smell, too. In the springtime, female bats gather together in roosts that will become nurseries. There they will give birth to their babies called pups. Most bats have only one pup at a time. During birth, the mother bat hangs by her thumb claws with her head up. She forms a basket with her tail membrane. At birth, the pup slides from her body into the basket. As soon as the pup is born, its mother hangs head down again. The pup nurses while being cradled under the mother's wing. The pup clings to its mother's fur, using its own sharp teeth and claws. The young pup grows quickly. A 10-day-old pup is almost too heavy for its mother to carry. At 3 months old, it is flying on nightly hunting trips. When it is about 1 year old, it's an adult. So when we're 1 year old, we're still considered a baby. Well, when a pup turns 1 year old, they're an adult. Today, in many places, bat populations are getting smaller. These bats are endangered, and one reason is that many people still don't like bats and destroy their habitats. Other causes are pollution and the use of pesticides for killing crop-damaging insects. In many places, there aren't enough bats left to keep down the number of insects, pests, or to pollinate flowers. But people are learning how to help protect bats. Some people provide bat houses where they can roost. Sometimes people cover bat cave entrances with grill work. Bats are free to come and go, but people can't go inside. Also, there are nature preserves that protect large groups of bats. Bats play an important role in nature. It's really fun to learn about them. The end. All right, so that is our story or our book about bats. And so I hope you learned some really cool things because I know I did. There was a couple of things in there that I didn't know. All right, so today we're going to continue learning about bats. All right, so I will see you back here again later.